All right, let's jump right into this explainer and decode the massive and, frankly, often intimidating catalog of SEO services. Look, if you've ever glanced at a digital marketing agency's menu, you already know it reads like some highly technical foreign language. So today, we're taking an extensive dive into source material from FirstPageRanks. They're an established SEO agency in the Delhi NCR region, and we're going to translate their comprehensive service offerings into plain, everyday English.
Because here's the thing, every single brand on earth wants to rank on page 1, but the path to actually get there is just filled with complex jargon and so many service options that it leaves most business owners completely overwhelmed. I mean, do you need on-page optimization or off-page? What about digital PR or toxic backlink recovery? It's incredibly easy to get lost in the weeds here, or worse, fall for agencies that promise you overnight success.
And that quote right there brilliantly illustrates our goal today. We're cutting straight through the noise of those quick-fix promises. As the source material repeatedly emphasizes, true optimization relies on ethical, data-driven practices. It's absolutely not about using artificial, fly-by-night tactics just to game the system.
To make sense of all this, we're going to break the whole thing down into 6 really logical sections. 1. The page 1 problem. 2. Pillars of modern SEO. 3. Winning the local market. 4. Advanced strategies and recovery. 5. The cost of ranking. And finally, 6. The long-term ROI.
Okay, let's start with section 1, the page 1 problem, navigating the digital marketing maze. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that true digital growth isn't about tricking an algorithm anymore. You can't just stuff a web page full of keywords and call it a day. It's really about matching your business perfectly to what potential customers are actively searching for. The source material highlights mapping out intent-based keywords. Basically, that means figuring out if a user is just passively looking for information or if they literally have their credit card out and are ready to buy. Finding where your competitors are totally missing these opportunities, that competitor gap, is your very first step to showing up exactly where your audience is looking.
Which brings us to section 2, the pillars of modern SEO, setting up the actual foundation of your online visibility.
Think of the SEO battlefield as being split into 2 totally distinct fronts. On the left side, you've got on-page SEO. This is your turf. It's everything you control directly on your own site, like tweaking meta tags, fixing up your content structure, or adding schema markup so search engines can easily read what's going on. Then, on the right, you have off-page SEO. This is essentially how the rest of the internet views and talks about you. You build this up through things like guest posts, digital PR, brand mentions, and earning really high-quality editorial backlinks.
But here's the catch. Underpinning both of those fronts is technical SEO. Honestly, you could have the absolute greatest content in human history, but if your page speed is slower than dial-up, search engines are just going to move on. Good agencies meticulously audit your core web vitals. They implement secure HTTPS frameworks, and they fix all those sneaky crawlability issues to guarantee a totally frictionless user experience.
Now, to tie these pillars all together, you really need to understand this term, white hat SEO. Essentially, this means playing by Google's rules so your entire investment doesn't just vanish overnight. The source strongly advocates against any of those short-term ranking tricks. White hat strategies rely on original, engaging content and naturally earned backlinks. Period. It is literally the only way to build digital trust that actually survives the constant, seemingly endless algorithm updates.
Moving right along to section 3, winning the local market. This is all about dominating those nearby searches and driving real foot traffic.
If you're operating in a super dense, highly competitive market, like Delhi NCR for example, following this exact local workflow is how you capture high-conversion queries from people literally right next door. Agencies make it a priority to claim your Google business profile and ensure your NAP, that's your name, address, and phone number, are identical across every single directory on the internet. Then they weave in location-based keywords and help you actively manage customer reviews, because those reviews are a massive trust signal for local algorithms.
And why does this matter so much? Because user intent often begins with convenience. Think about it. Searches like SEO services near me rely entirely on proximity. When someone searches for a nearby solution, they usually want to take action immediately. By utilizing hyperlocal keywords and optimizing map listings, businesses can scoop up this demand and turn a quick digital search into immediate physical footfall or a direct phone call.
Okay, let's level up. Section 4. Advanced strategies and recovery. Taking things well beyond the basics.
Oof. Okay, so if a business previously used shady tactics, bought some spammy links, or maybe just got caught on the wrong side of an algorithm update, agencies deploy this specialized service to literally rescue the domain from the digital graveyard. Penalty recovery is intense work. It involves auditing your entire backlink profile, disavowing toxic links, completely overhauling thin or plagiarized content, and formally submitting reconsideration requests to Google to restore your site's credibility.
Now, on the flip side, if you want to be super proactive, advanced campaigns utilize digital PR strategies. This earns you editorial backlinks from major publications, which massively boosts your domain trust. We are talking way beyond standard link building here. It involves writing professional press releases, doing real outreach to journalists and influencers, and creating highly linkable assets like original research or killer infographics. This is exactly how a brand steps up from being just a local player to a true industry authority.
All right, Section 5, the moment of truth, the cost of ranking. Let's look at some actual agency pricing data.
Pulling this data directly from the source material really grounds our discussion in reality. Here are the foundational services priced out in Indian rupees. You can see how these scale from a monthly retainer up to a discounted annual investment. For instance, technical SEO services, making sure your site speed and architecture are absolutely flawless, runs around 9,000 rupees a month, or roughly 96,000 for the year. This gives you a really solid baseline for what a legitimate structured setup actually costs.
But then, when you jump up to the advanced tier, look at how highly resource-intensive tasks like digital PR command a much steeper premium, around 18,000 rupees a month or 1.8 lakhs yearly. Why the big leap? Because manual outreach and actually building real human relationships with journalists requires significant effort and expertise. It's a completely different league than just making a few basic on-page tweaks.
Finally, we're wrapping things up with Section 6, the long-term ROI, how to measure sustainable success.
The source material's FAQs are crystal clear on this point. Ethical optimization is not some overnight magic trick. It follows a very structured timeline. Month 1 is almost entirely dedicated to audits and fixing technical glitches. Months 2 and 3 pivot heavily into optimizing your content and restructuring the site itself. Honestly, it's really only in month 4 and beyond, as that authority building finally takes effect, that noticeable ranking improvements typically start to appear. It is a marathon, not a sprint, guys.
And the best agencies prove their value not just with some arbitrary ranking numbers, but by completely transparently tracking these key performance indicators to ensure the traffic is actually converting into revenue. Because, let's be real, it doesn't matter if you rank number 1 if every single visitor bounces immediately, right? Tracking traffic quality, local foot traffic from map listings, and actual lead generation is how you prove true, undeniable return on investment.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Take a hard look at your own digital footprint right now, based on everything we've unpacked today. Are you spending your budget building a short-term house of cards, or are you truly investing in the technical health required for a long-term foundation? You might have a website right now, but what is it actually going to take for you to own your digital market?